This video explains how to halftone black and white images using Photoshop. Black and white is a different process than halftoning color images. It is a simpler process. Here we have an image with a lot of transparent pixels. This image looks like it was generated with AI. The problem with transparent pixels in black and white images is that the RIP tries to compensate for these pixels by changing the amount of white ink, creating gray that does not look very good when printed. When you preview the file with a black background, it doesn't look bad because the transparency has filled the black on the screen, but on an actual print, since white is opaque on purpose, the resulting print looks very different. This image was created to be pressed on a black shirt, so ideally you would like to print the white and have the shirt produce the black for a soft, smooth print using less ink. In this case, because this image has black in it, and some of that black is transparent, it printed with a large cloud of gray with very little contrast and created that familiar pattern of gray. Looking at it closer, you can see where the RIP created varied levels of white in the beam to try to replicate the tones between the levels of gray, causing that clearly visible pattern because of the transparent pixels. There is a way to remove transparent pixels by creating a layer mask using all transparency in the image and adjusting the threshold. You can clearly see the large amount of adjustment possible in this case because of the number of transparent pixels and the room in the threshold slider to create change in the overall image. The resulting print after adjustment did manage to clear up the gray cloud, but still gave us less than optimal results. The real solution for this image is to halftone the image, to print only white, using dots of different sizes to simulate the gray in the image and the shirt for black. This process has been used in garment printing for decades. Because this image was very small, only 3 inches wide, I used the generative upscaler using the Topaz model to get us a good-sized image at 300 resolution. We typically use the 10.75 sizing so we can gang images side to side for more efficient tiling. There are a few very important conditions to get good results when creating halftones. One of the most important is that halftones must be created at the size and resolution the image is to be printed. Stretching or resizing will cause various problems, as there is a limit on the size of halftones that can be printed. 22 lines per inch is a safe line screen for printing DTF. The higher the image quality and the more information in the image file will give you the best results. When upscaling, the process generates a whole new file that is very helpful if you need to backtrack. The upscale comes with an applied mask that I remove first and rename. The original is removed to avoid confusion. You can also close out the original file for less clutter in your tabs. For the second copy, use Ctrl or Command J to duplicate the layer, then use Command or Ctrl I to invert the image. Then go to the inverse layer and right-click it. Choose Duplicate after the dialog box appears. In the first drop-down, choose New, and then name this New Document. I generally use HT for halftone or KO for knockout to keep track of this file. This next step is where the art comes in because we are going to use a mask to apply halftones. You must be aware of how masks work. White exposes or shows the design. and black erases or hides the design, and the shades of gray are going to be where the variable dot sizes are created. Sometimes the preview can be deceiving, as you see in a sample what seems to be white is actually not 255, 255, 255, because this is an inverse of the mask we are going to apply. We need to make sure there are no stray halftones that would be created by anything but 100% white. Using a levels adjustment, we can use the image preview to decide how much detail we are attempting to capture. You can see that moving the black slider can hide or reveal parts of the design. The art here is making the white areas the boundary and the black areas to keep detail and maximize the contrast to get crisp detail in our halftone creation. Notice also how the text should be solid and completely black to print clean, legible text. When you are happy with the image, it is time to convert it to halftones. The first step is to hit Command or Control Shift and E to apply the levels adjustment and flatten the layer. The second step is to go to Image Mode, then choose Grayscale. This will delete all color information. Third step is to go to Image, Mode, Bitmap. When the dialog box appears, it will inform you of the resolution. Select Method as Halftone Screen, then OK. The second dialog box, enter 22 as frequency lines per inch and 22 as angle and round from the drop-down for shape. Now that your halftones are created, scan the edges for stray pixels and look at the shapes and forms are all how you want them to be. If you feel it needs adjustments, you can Command Z to the levels adjustment and change what is needed. The next step is very important. You need to put this file in grayscale once again. When you do, choose one in the dialog that appears during conversion. Now find your original file with the inverted second layer. Choose the original file and create a mask using the Layers panel. Select the mask by Alt-clicking and the canvas should turn white. Return to the halftone file and press Command or Control-A to select all, then Command-C to copy. In the original file, with the mask selected and Alt-clicked to be all white, press Command-Shift-V to paste in place. After this, with the halftones in the mask selected, click Control-I to invert the halftones. Now, by clicking the original file, the mask is applied and should knock out everything but the white. After this process, you can place a black color layer under the original layer to see the results. Thank you to Charles King for letting us use this file for our video. And to all of you who support this channel, any questions and comments are appreciated and will be answered below. Also, any suggestions for future videos are appreciated.